Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Libra for March 2016. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, or click on the link below this video, where you can see more about my astrology blog, my health blog, and all of my other blogs. And you can sign up for my free email newsletter, which makes you part of my VIP crew, and you get lots of perks that goes along with that. So what is happening in March? It's madness. We have eclipses. We have the impending Mars retrograde, which happens in April, but we're feeling it in March. We also have lots of other aspects that we're not going to talk about that make it a very, very, very busy, astrologically busy month on small levels and on big levels. So let's talk about the eclipses, and we'll talk about the general implications and some things specific for Libras. So eclipse time is often a time of great change. The solar eclipses bring in new opportunities, new beginnings, new portals for a different trajectory. And they often do just that. They take you from going in this direction and just put you going right in a whole different direction. The lunar eclipses bring powerful closings, endings, completions coming to fruition. So there's two eclipse cycles that we have at play during this time in March. March 8th, we have a solar eclipse, 18 degrees of Pisces. March 23rd, we have a lunar eclipse at 3 degrees of Libra. That lunar eclipse at 3 degrees of Libra is not only bringing endings, because it's the nature for lunar eclipses to do that, but it's also the last eclipse in the Aries Libra cycle that has been going on since the end of 2013. And this is even more relevant for people who have Aries and Libra placements. So if you have your placement in Libra, which obviously you do because you're watching for that, then you have been undergoing a massive transformation since the end of 2013. So in general, the story that Aries Libra polarity brings has to do with me versus we. Yourself versus your connection with others, how you are in relationships, how you are on your own, holding your space within relationships, having healthy boundaries or not, working with people together on something, working on your own efforts, deciding what you want versus people pleasing. All of these things are, and the issues of codependency are very strongly wired with this Aries Libra dynamic. Not being able to tell the difference between self and others within the relationships, your important relationships, or even general relationships, finding your place within your relationships. So this story of new beginnings and new endings and things being eclipsed out and new things being born has been very active, kind of like an active volcano, since the end of 2013. So if you look very carefully, maybe you don't have to look that carefully, maybe it's very obvious. The new beginnings and endings that have happened in your relationship space and how you relate to other people is likely to be very notable. So this is the ending of this whole cycle. And so it could correspond with the actual ending of a relationship. For some people, something was pending and maybe now this is it. This is the ending. And it might take 4 to 6 months even after this last date, because eclipses have plus 4 to 6 months after they occur for things to integrate and things to kind of get wrapped up with whatever is happening. So you might have an ending. Now, many people, many Libras will have been in the same relationship and will continue to be in the same relationship or relationships during this whole eclipse cycle. It's not going to end all the relationships, but it definitely is ending chapters within your relationships, the ones that are still present and still going to be present, or eclipsing out or ending and having new beginnings within your relationship. So different levels of experience within the same relationships have been very actively brewing and being cultivated. So some very solid ending now will be occurring again within one or more key relationships. There's also a very strong story for Libras with health. This is and this has to do with the Pisces Virgo portion of this eclipse cycle. The Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle started at the beginning of 2015 and runs into 2017. So maybe in that time you've had health things going on, wake-up calls, maybe you've had dramatic changes that you've made to your diet, just being proactive, or there could be incidences or events that have happened, or it could be that you have things pending. Maybe you have enigmatic symptoms and you're trying to search for answers about them. There's a very strong story for many Libras, early, middle, and late degrees, having to do with body versus mind. the relationship between disease in the body and disease in the mind and the emotions, and the connection between how we think of things and what our fears are and what these imprints are and how they manifest in the body. So this is a big story. So you might have something ongoing with your health, and you might have a breakthrough that comes with this eclipse where there's new information coming in, because the solar eclipse is happening in your 6th house for many of you. Some of you middle to later degree placements, you might have your solar eclipse in the 5th house, but you still may have some of this health stuff going on, even if it's not eclipse related, because the personal planets are moving through the 6th house. So all Libras have this activity with things having to do with your health, diet, supplementation, medical devices, medical procedures, medical diagnostics, labs, things like that, trying to pinpoint an issue or monitor an issue. So the solar eclipse opens up, brings new things. So it's possible that you can enter a new level of health that comes from the healing of something within your mind, or the healing of something within your body, or a discovery that's made that has to do with your body. Some of you might have your problems, your health problems, sourced in an issue called methylation. You're going to hear me talk about this in the future as I learn more about it and gather my thoughts. This has come to my awareness recently. Methylation is an event that happens in the body. It's something that it's a part of a detoxifying process, but there's more to it than that. But there are 30 to 50% of people, the population, do not methylate correctly. And this causes a major backup of toxins in your body, where there's broken down neurotransmitters and hormones and toxins and, all kinds of things that are not able to be processed. So if you're a person who has made massive health changes and you're having symptoms of toxicity, skin problems, intestinal problems, other things that could be associated with toxicity, and you're saying, how the heck can I have problems with toxicity because I live so clean? That question that so many people are asking could be answered by this methylation issue, because you might not be detoxifying like normal people are. So even just the air, the water, life, and even just the digestive process creates free radicals and toxins. And if you're not detoxifying properly, if there's something in your body that is awry, it doesn't matter how clean you're living, you're eventually going to have a backup. Now, you would be much worse off if you weren't living clean, because then it would really be backed up. So you really need to look into this methylation thing. And hopefully I'll have a blog up on this soon with some recommendations as to how you can manage this. But really, many people are walking around with the source of their problem being in not having a pathway in their liver working correctly, or a process in their body not working correctly. But things like that where you find out about it, you uncover it. This solar eclipse could uncover something that has been a problem your whole life and has manifested in all these different ways, and now you figure out what it is and can actually do something about it. It's very exciting. Very exciting. Some of you may have massive improvements to your daily experience. The solar eclipse energy in the 6th house can bring in a new daily experience. So if you were really stressed or over busy before, then maybe you'll have more freedom or more time in your new experience. If you weren't busy enough and you were hoping to have a job or more work, that might change too. Just basically a major change to your daily experience could be coming, especially for early placements. And the early degree placements are basically the Libras that are earlier in the sign, or the degrees that are like, if you're watching for your rising sign, 0 to around 9 degrees. That's an early degree placement. And then the early parts, so like the first 10 days of the sign is where you're early. So if your birthday is in the first 10 days of the sign, then you're an early degree placement. So the odds for those people to have all this big health stuff coming to form are increased, but like I said, it could be present for any of you because of this busyness that's happening with the other planets in the 6th house. And some of those are long-term transits too. There's personal planets moving through them more quickly, but there's longer-term transits that are working on something slowly over time. So really any Libra could have these breakthroughs in that division of your life. The rest of you, and maybe some of you additionally who are having this happen, may also have new beginnings in your 5th house. And the 5th house has to do with creativity. So a whole new cycle of creativity could be opening for you. Also, this is the house of children. If you're not trying to birth a child or trying to create a child, be very careful because you're very, very fertile. This cycle of creativity and fertility expands through every area of your life with this energy. And most Libras are going to experience this in some way. And even the ones that don't have the eclipse there, you are having personal planets and other planets move through there. So this is busy for all Libras either way. But if you do things that are involving children, if you teach or you work with kids, or you have your own kids that you're active with, or you're about to have a child, this could be very relevant to you. So something busy, something notable, something going on having to do with children or creativity. Could also have something to do with artistic endeavors, athleticism, singing, music, acting, directing, filmmaking, producing, things like that are in there. Okay, so let's see. So now the lunar eclipse, which is where the endings are, those are happening either in the for the early degree placements in the first house, or for the rest of you in the 12th house. So something is ending in the area either of how you see yourself, how you present yourself into the world, or a great fear or even addiction could be ending. So this might be a time where you have to walk through some major fears that you have, and it could be related to relationship things that are happening, or it could be related to health things that are happening, or even work, your daily schedule. But that makes room for the new. So we have the endings and we have the beginnings. It's a very busy time. We also have Mars retrograde. That happens April 17th through June 29th. That's the most active time. But the whole transit runs from the end of February through the end of August. So what does Mars rule? It rules initiating. It rules assertion. It rules productivity. And it rules metal and machinery, anything made of metal. So you want to avoid buying new things that are metal, cars, scissors, machinery, when Mars is in retrograde. So if you want to do those things, try to do that in February or tops the first half of March. And I'm going to be doing a Mars retrograde video and blog. So if this is the first week of February that you're watching, do a search on my YouTube channel and on my website for Mars retrograde, and I'll give you lots of more details about what to do and what to avoid. So, but in general, if you have something that you want to birth, something new, something you're launching, something that really is an initiation or a first time something, you want to wrap that up in February, and but definitely by the middle of March, because you'll see the slowdown. Anything birthed during Mars retrograde is going to lose its fizzle. It's a very good chance that it'll be there and then it'll be gone. And that's the same for romantic relationships, because Mars rules those as well. So if you're having a new relationship start in that time, the odds that it's going to fizzle are very much increased. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to participate in it. It just means try to not do anything permanent, like move in or get married or get engaged or do anything that would have long-term consequences, because you're probably not seeing clearly about that at this time. So if you have to initiate anything February into March 16th is a beautiful day in the cosmos with a trine with Jupiter and Pluto. That trine will happen again at the end of June. That's a magical time when outer planets make a wonderful coherent angle. And the eclipse is Mars. Okay, those are the things I most want to talk about. So if you would like some personal assistance, check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and click on coaching and astrology. And definitely go to see my blog, my astrology blog, my health blog, my other blogs. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter, become part of my community. You get lots of perks that go along with that. And check out my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine, which is available on a sliding scale and is intended to help you bring your shine into the world. That is my department. I love to help people clear through their issues and their impediments to living life in their fullness and bringing the world the light it really needs. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.